doing all the good stuff. I'm finishing up my MBA in information technology. My name's Sean Endler. I'm a cancer survivor. I call mindful technologist. I'm a dad, a parent, an educator, technologist. Anybody out there in the world do cybersecurity and integrations, technology, business operations, all that fun stuff. So I'm going to use these tools to study, I guess, and also sort of help other people do some things. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm studying. So I am going to share my entire screen with everybody. That's cool. But here, I'm right now studying my MBA in Global Economics for Managers. I'm doing it with WGU, highly recommend that. But I figure, why not? This would be the best way for me to go about practicing, getting better at recording, speaking, all that good stuff, and get some study time in. So, let's start talking about it. The topic here is Chapter 2, Understanding Formal Institutions, Politics, Laws, and Economics. So, our objectives here is to explain the concepts of institutions and their role in reducing uncertainty, articulate the two core propositions underpinning an institution based view of global business. I'm not really sure what that means. Identify the basic differences between democracy and totalitarianism. Cool. Outline the differences among civil law, common law, and theoretical law. Okay. Understand the importance of proprietary rights and intellectual proprietary rights. Appreciate the difference among market economy, command economy, and mixed economy. That one should be interesting. And participate in two leading debates concerning politics, laws, and economics, and draw implications for action. Pretty straightforward. But we want to look at some key concepts. So, institutions are commonly defined as the rules of the game. They get to set the rules. They have formal and informal components, each with different supportive pillars. So, what do we got here? We got the cognitive pillar. It refers to the internalized, taken for granted values and beliefs that guide individuals and firm behavior. So, this is their thought process, huh? This is the culture of it. These are the things that how they operate. That's why they call that the cognitive pillar. Formal institutions include laws, regulations, and rules. Okay, so that's formalized crap. We get that. Informal. These are again. I mean, informal and cognitive kind of go hand in hand. I mean, maybe cognitive is vision and mission, and informal is more of norms and cultures and basic ethics. Institutional framework is made up of formal and informal institutions governing individuals and firm behavior. I deal with this a lot: cybersecurity work, risk and compliance, quality assurance, those kinds of things. So we deal with that a lot when we're talking about uh, when we're talking about this stuff. Hold on, I'm gonna go do my TikTok too here. Studying for my MBA. So I'm gonna try and double dip today. Um, I'm gonna do TikTok down here on the phone. I'm gonna do YouTube up here on the computer. See what happens. TikTok doesn't work that well with my Mac as far as going live from the computer, so it's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep going. I'm studying right now. See what's up. I'm studying for my MBA, Master's Business Administration. Technically, I'm working in Global Economics for Managers. I got two courses left. My capstone project, which I did the whole damn thing, except for I had one section I needed to redo. Got my cancer diagnosis, ran out of time. Got to do another semester just because. But hell, whatever. So we're talking about different views here. Institution-based view requires a firm to constantly monitor, decode, and adapt to the changing rules of the game to survive and prosper. So, okay, so that means you're constantly evolving. Welcome back, I get it. Institutions are popularly known as the rules of the game, Fulheim. Institutional transitions are fundamental and comprehensive changes introduced to the formal and informal roles that affect firms as players. Fundamental and comprehensive changes. I mean, I can see that. Transitions. Normative pillars refers to how the values, beliefs, and actions of other relevant players, collectively known as norms, influence the behavior of local individuals and firms. So I guess this is how we work like our other competitors. So if you're in the finance world, the way other people operate and belief influences you. So that's normative, meaning norms, psychological term. Regulatory pillar, this is the coercive power of the government. We know that one, especially in finance. We deal with that all the time. What are some key concepts we have here? The key function of institutions are to reduce uncertainty, curtail transaction costs, and combat opportunism. So basically to keep it status quo. So institutional transitions, defined as fundamental and comprehensive changes introduced to the formal and informal rules of the game that affect organizations as players. Fundamental and comprehensive changes introduced to the formal and informal rules. That one's interesting. I wonder where that one plays. I have to think about that. Opportunism, defined as self-interest seeking, profit, capitalism, looking for that all the time. Transaction cost, defined as costs associated with economic transactions, or more broadly, cost of doing business. Yeah, I guess there is that all the time, especially in sales. So now we're talking about an institution-based view of global business. So we've got two propositions. The first proposition is managers and firms rationally pursue their interests and make choices within formal and informal institutional constraints in a given institutional framework. Way to make it so convoluted and nonsense is this? All right, managers and firms rationally pursue their interests. Okay, that means they're not irrationally, so they're doing it with thought, strategy, and make choices with formal and informal institutional constraints. All right, so you work within the frameworks you have, and you have. Okay, so that's first proposition. Proposition two: when formal constraints are unclear or fail, informal constraints will play a larger role. I mean, basically, that sounds to me like people will just do what they got to do to get shit done if the things aren't there. So the way I kind of read that is we rationally pursue interests if we have all our policies, processes, procedures in place. If not, people begin to do what they do. All right, fine, so be it. So now we got political systems that we're talking about, which is ironic. Everything's going on in the world today. But democracy is a political system in which citizens elect representatives to govern the country. Oh, great. Totalitarianism is a political system in which one person or party exercises absolute political control. I don't know where we're at right now. We might be a bit of democracy slash totalitarianism, right? I mean, that's known. We've been knowing that since elementary school. All right. So we got some key terms. We got the communist totalitarianism centers on a communist party. Great. Democracy is a political system in which citizens elect representatives to govern the country on their behalf. It's the world we live in. Political risk. Risk associated with political changes that may negatively impact domestic and foreign firms. All right, we got political risk all the time. I mean, hell, the tariffs and things we're doing right now are political risks. I mean, we saw all this manipulation happen. The political system refers to the rules of the game on how a country is governed politically. Fine. Right-wing totalitarianism. Ooh, it's characterized by its intense hatred of communism. That sounds old school. Theoretic totalitarianism refers to the monopolization of political power in the hands of one religious party or group. Okay, so Middle Eastern stuff right there. Totalitarianism, dictatorship, defined as a political system in which one person or party exercises absolute political control over the population. I mean, maybe that's what we're talking about here. Tribal totalitarianism refers to one tribe or ethnic group, which may or may not be the majority of the population, monopolizing political power and oppressing other tribes or ethnic groups. I mean, Middle East again, right there, right? Political risk involves risk associated, pretty straightforward stuff. I mean, none of this is all, this is a master's level course, but this sounds like 6th grade, 7th grade social studies sometimes. Legal systems, key concepts. Civil law uses comprehensive statutes and codes as a primary means to formal legal judgments. Common law is shaped by precedents and traditions from previous judicial decisions. All right, fair enough. So, what are our key terms? Civil law. These are the statutes and codes that make up our formal judgments. We have common law. This is more traditions, things that kind of happen, areas, ethnics, that sort of thing. Copyrights. I think this is a big one. We don't do enough. Copyrights are the exclusive legal rights of authorities and publishers to publish and disseminate their work. IP, intellectual property. We all know that one. IP is the big one in the world, isn't it? Specifically refers to tangible property that results from intellectual activities such as books, videos. Cool. I mean, that's the world we live in now. I can't imagine what this IP is like in the world now with social media, with all the online stuff. It's got to be crazy. I mean, what's really intellectual property anymore, to be honest with you? It's a tough one. Intellectual property rights. And this is where I think, like, I'm thinking about going to law school. It was a goal of mine in the late 90s when I first graduated, was to go to law school, and I kind of bailed and chickened out on it. So I'm thinking of going back, but I really like intellectual property rights, like IP and you know, that kind of stuff, copyright laws, those things. They're associated with the ownership of intellectual property. IPRs primarily include rights associated with patents, copyrights, and trademarks. The reason why I find this so intriguing is because I think so much of this is the foundation of our economics that it needs to be investigated and looked at more. This is really where this shit falls apart. Legal system, patents, legal rights awarded by government authorities to inventors of new products or processes who are given exclusive rights to derive income from such inventions through activities such as manufacturing licenses. Okay, great. But the process for getting patents, being a patent lawyer, is pretty tough. Piracy, I mean, that used to be the big one, man. Everybody remembers that when we used to steal music and videos and stuff, not realizing we were basically like modern day pirates out there. Property rights, this is a big one. Property is never going to go anywhere. It's always going to be something that we have to deal with. So being property rights is a big thing. Theoretical law, this is religious teachings. This is more the Middle East. Trademarks, exclusive legal rights of firms to use specific names, brands, and designs to differentiate their products from one another. Okay, fine. I mean, this is all just basic stuff, isn't it? Economic systems. So pure market economy. Laissez-faire, total control by market forces. A pure command economy is defined by government ownership and control of all means of production. Most countries operate mixed economies with different emphasis on market versus command forces. God, this stuff seems so important right now, doesn't it? With everything that's going on in this crazy-ass world we have with these tariffs and the market. So what kind of economy? We have a command economy. All factors of production should be government or state-owned. China. Economic system refers to the rules of the game and how countries govern. Market economy. System characterized by the invisible hand of market forces. This is what we really live in, I swear. I mean, we might be a little bit of a mix because of how much we depend on China and other places for this stuff. But honestly, our market drives everything. Our stock market, I mean, it's really, so we just sit back and wait for things to do this before then we react, you know? So that we might be a bit of a mixed. State-owned enterprises, SOEs, firms that are at least 10% owned by the state. SWF, sovereign wealth funds, state-owned investment funds. This stuff is wild, man. All right, so we got some debates. There's 3 leading debates on all this. What drives economic development? What are the most effective and least disruptive institutional transitions towards more market competition? And how to best measure political risk? What a word, political risk. I mean, that one is just, honestly, what the hell, how do you describe political risk? I mean, politics in and of itself is risky. That's all based on the people. Yeah, I mean, these people are risky in and of themselves, and then the decisions they make and everything else. God, that one's got to be a tough one. I'm getting more into risk and compliance too now. Kind of moved over from cybersecurity itself into sort of this compliance and risk world. So that's where I'm headed now. All right, so we've got a market transition debate. This pertains to how to make the transitions work in most effective and least disruptive way. Moral hazards refers to recklessness when people and organizations, including firms and governments, do not have to face the full consequences of their actions. Sounds like us in Big Pharma, doesn't it? We have a moral hazard right there. They can go be reckless with all their stuff, and then there's no accountability to that path dependency. The present choices of countries, as well as firms and individuals, are constrained by the choices made previously. I mean, yeah, that makes sense to me. Washington consensus is a view centered on the unquestioned belief in the superiority of private ownership over state ownership. So, okay. That was tough, man. We got to do it ourselves. Management savvy, key concept. Managers considering working hard abroad should have thorough understanding of the formal institutions before entering a country. That makes sense. This stuff really is not that overly complicated. It pretty much is common sense, in my opinion. So that one right there is understanding formal institutions and political laws, chapter 2. Okay, cool, great. What else we got here? Let's go on to chapter 4 here. The market forces of supply and demand. What is this one about? The video is prepared for the objective. Economics uses the forces of supply and demand to analyze equilibrium prices and quantities and competitive markets. The quantity supplied equals the quantity demand. That is totally interesting. Let's see what this has to say. The principles of economics. Oh, it's taking me just to this cool stuff. Sorry, I'm not. I don't know. I don't interact very often. I'm just getting used to this stuff. So, I'll get better at it. Let's see what this has to say. The market forces the supply and demand. Isn't this just such juicy stuff? Ooh, I just love it. I just love it. And then they get these terrible like dudes to come on and speak. Rather, let's see if you can hear this guy. No. Oh, we're doing the pencil thing, right? How every piece you need just to make a little pencil comes from like 100 different places around the globe. Let's see. Sorry, it's in my headphones, so not everybody can hear. Let's see what this guy has to say. God, this is such the it's such the argument for the global economics, which makes sense. It made sense for the last 50 years, but we're in a position now where I don't know that it makes sense anymore. Right? It's got to be a balanced global economic place. Have you seen this day about the yen going down in China? This is all thought out stuff and all things that are happening. I know it takes stuff from here and here and here and here to make a pencil, but do we have to go grab it from other places? Could we potentially make a third of it here, two-thirds of it here? Is there some kind of like balance that we need to get to when it comes to making these products and producing here in the US? Because these guys make sense. He's sitting here talking about if I sent you out into the wilderness, would you be able to find all the supplies to make a pencil? Truth of the matter is, no, dude, you would not make one of those number 2 yellow pencils. But you would figure out a way to write shit eventually. And you would figure out a way to write stuff down. You'd figure out a way to do it. That's how all of this stuff happened in general. I got to hear what he says in this 4.5 minutes. Hold on, let me see here. Oh, so now we're talking about it taking time, right? So listen, you got to have your pencil as quickly as possible. I can't wait, and I can't put in any effort to do it. So I got to have it now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it from wherever I can as quick as I can. So, now we're talking about the forces of supply and demand. This is so relevant right now. This is kind of why I wanted to do this. There it's the basis of all of it, right? This is how it works. They determine the quantity of each good produced and the price at which it's sold. Supply and demand is what it's all about, constantly. So let's see what the justification here. The term supply and demand refers to the behavior of people as they interact with one another in competitive markets. So the behavior of buyers and sellers. Market, we know who the market is. We all know that crap. Come on, give us that. The question is it hot outside? So it's hot, so people want popsicles. So the demand for my popsicles goes up. This is Uber's like how they make a living, surge pricing. If you've ever been in New York right before an event in New York City, like a Yankees game or a concert or anything like that, I swear to God, the price is triple on the Ubers and stuff just going to a Yankee game. So that's supply and demand. So thank you. So great. So what I see here is market manipulation. I see like what happens like the competitive market isn't a fair competitive even playing ground or even playing field because people are able to manipulate and to create force on supply and demand. So there's no perfect competition out there. If I'm Apple and I make trillions of dollars a year, I'm able to create force that impacts the supply and the demand. I mean, it's literally what's happening right now is because our president and Elon Musk had the ability to create force and change the supply, and then they're going to create a demand, and then you're going to have to fill that demand. So they're literally doing all of this. They're impacting a competitive market because they are able to influence force. I mean, it's like a law of nature in physics here, isn't it? All right, so we assume that there things are perfectly competitive, which we all know is bullshit, is not true, but we can't. So goods are offered for sale are exactly the same quality, same material, same effort. It's all the same. They should be the same price. Maybe this one was made a little bit better, so I pay a little more. The buyers and sellers are so numerous that no single buyer or seller has any influence. So that means there's so much of it. I don't care if I buy it from you or from Johnny. Maybe you're the only one who does this. But who cares? There's so buyers and sellers in a perfectly competitive market must accept the price the market determines. They are price takers. This is us with gas. We have no choice. We're price takers. We have to take the price of gas, whether it's $3.60 now, or $3.50 or whatever it may be. It's crap, man. This is kind of like a joke, to be honest with you. I mean, this is all like BS to just make sure. All right, quick quiz. This will be your first. What's the assignment? Let's see what the assignment is. Let's see how bad this is, okay? The best definition of a market is a store that offers a variety of goods and services, a place where buyers meet and auctioneers call out prices, a group of buyers and sellers of goods and services, or a venue. It's the group of buyers and services, right? Come on, we're trying to get this master's done here. Oh, nobody's hanging on. Here we go. All right, number 2. What is, in a perfectly competitive market, every seller tries to distinguish itself by offering a better product? No, every seller takes the price of the products as set by market conditions. Every seller tries to undercut the prices changed by rivals. One seller successfully out compared its rivals, so no other seller remains. We're going with A. Every seller tries to distinguish itself. Oh, that wasn't right. Every seller takes the price of the products. And correct. What's the right answer then? All right, let's see. If that's not the answer, is every seller takes the price of products. Every seller tries to undercut the versus. No seller remains. It was the seller takes the price of his products as set by market conditions. All right, whatever the hell that means. Here we go. All right, so the market for which product best fits the definition of a perfectly competitive market. Ooh, the market. So is it eggs, tap water, computer operating systems, or movies? Oh, interesting. What can I say? That's a strange one. Let's see. I think it's going to be eggs. What do you guys think? Eggs? Yeah, eggs. So eggs are a great example of the market which the product best fits the definition of a perfectly competitive market. A perfectly competitive market where every seller takes the price of his products as set by market conditions. Okay, so we want more eggs. The price of eggs has gone up and dramatically, so I get that one. Okay, makes sense. Submit the assignment. Yes, thank you. Geez, golly gee willikers. They make it such a big deal. I was a teacher for a long time, and this stuff is crazy. Demand, buyers, focus on thinking, let's keep it particular. I mean, this is pretty straightforward stuff. Now, the trick here is these demand curves that we're talking about. So we have the quantity demanded of any good is the amount of the good that buyers are willing and able to purchase. As we will see, many things determine the quantity demanded of a good, but in our analysis of how markets work, one determinant plays a central role: the good's price. If the price of ice cream rose to $20 a scoop, you would buy less ice cream. I mean, it's very true. I buy less stuff because it's more expensive right now. I don't go out to eat and buy fast food because it's more expensive. I mean, is that not true? So that we would call a quantity demand. And I think this is important for us to just know this shit. We should just know how this stuff operates so we just know what to do in our lives. Because this isn't about more than just understanding how it works. Like, if the price of eggs are going up, then don't buy the damn eggs if that's the case, if that's what you want. We'll see. But then there's the law of demand. Other things being equal, when the price of a good rises, the quantity demanded of the good falls. And when the price falls, the quantity demand now rises. Interesting. So, ice cream cones. Catherine would buy each month at a different price. If the ice cream cones are free, Catherine buys 12 cones per month at $1 per cone. Catherine buys 10 cones each month. As the price rises, she buys fewer and fewer cones. When the price reaches $6, Catherine does not buy any cones at all. This is a demand schedule, a table that shows the relationship. So basically, that's that point where this shit breaks and we just stop buying it. I'm telling you, it's like, like what, $4.50, $5 for gas, and I'm just gonna screw it and start riding my bike everywhere. I mean, I think that's what we're seeing right now, and this is a precursor to inflation, to a recession, to everything else that everybody's talking about right now. Because, as we progress through this, as the price goes up, the demand, people stop buying it, there's more on the shelves, there's more sitting around. It's just a disaster. Market demand versus individual demand. Market might want it, but some people might not. I mean, that one's a tough one, right? The sum of individuals' demand curves horizontally to obtain the market demand curve. Brutal, man. Quantity of ice cream cones, price, quantity, price. All right, you can see that. It's a little bit rough, man. This demand curve stuff is shifts in the demand curve. Because the market demand curve holds other things constant, it need not be stable over time. I have this little app called I Am, and it gives me little positive affirmations. I have value, and I know my worth. That's what it is. So, all right. If something happens to alter the quantity of demand at any given price, the demand curve shifts. All right. I mean, that makes sense because if the price and the quantity changes, the demand's going to go. So if all of a sudden a product gets cheaper, then we can make more of it, and the demand might go up. So I can see that. Income. What would happen to your demand for ice cream if you lost your job? Well, if my income goes down, I'm not buying ice cream. Suppose frozen yogurt falls short now. Could I get yogurt an alternative? So I'll get yogurt instead of ice cream so I can substitute it in. Maybe I'll start making my own because milk and fruit is cheaper to get the two together. Maybe it has to do with my tastes. Maybe I just don't like it anymore. Maybe I'm getting older. I don't buy all the candy I used to when I was 12 years old. Sodas, things like that. So my tastes have changed. My expectations also there. I expect more in different things now at this point in my life than I did before. Number of buyers. This is a good one. That you can charge me $8 for a croissant at the freaking farmer's market because there's a bunch of people there buying it, and guess what? Somebody's going to pay it. So the demand is huge. Limited supply. It's only there on Saturdays. It's only there for a couple hours. So, I mean, hey, you got to do what you got to do. So that's where we see that happen. I see it all day. It's kind of weird. I should have known this stuff. I should have wanted to understand really how all of this worked. So when I was younger, I didn't fall into this bullshit that I did, but I didn't. So here I am now. Looking at it now. Let's do a quick quiz. What do you think? Why the hell not? Let's see. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, a change in which of the following will not shift the demand curve for hamburgers? The price of hamburgers, the income of the hamburger consumers, the price of hamburger buns, or the price of hot dogs. So hot dogs have obviously no freaking influence on hamburgers. It's got to be hot dogs. No, it's not. which will not shift the demand curve for hamburgers? The income, the price of the hamburger buns. This is gotta be the income. What is it? The price of hamburger buns? The price of hamburgers will not shift the demand curve? The price of hamburgers will not shift the demand curve. Alright. Which of the following will shift the demand curve for pizza to the right? Increase of the price of root beer, a complement to pizza, a decrease in the price of pizza, an increase in the price of hamburgers, a substitute for pizza. So if the price of hamburgers goes up, more people are going to eat pizza, right? So that's how we shifted to the right there, right? Is because more people are going to come get my product because something else became more expensive or it became crappy. So that shifts my demand curve to the right. If pasta is an inferior good, then the demand curve shifts to the blank when the blank rises. If pasta is inferior, then the demand curve shifts to the right when the price of pasta rises. No, the demand's going to go down. So it's going to go to the left as the price goes up because it's not good quality. Is it right? Left in the right? Shenanigans, right? Right as the price of pasta. Left in the consumer's income? If the pasta is an inferior good, then the demand curve shifts to the left when the consumer's income rises. So if it's a bad product, as I make more money, I buy less of it. Okay. So if I make more money, I buy better stuff. It's true. So like I buy organic food versus non-organic food because I can afford it. Oh shit. Okay, that makes sense. God, those are tricky, aren't they? What about supply? Supply, the other side of the market, examine the behavior of sellers. Once again, to focus on thinking, let's consider ice cream. Let's talk about ice cream, shall we? The supply curve, the relationship between price and quantity supplied. The quantity supplied of any good or service is the amount that sellers are willing and able to sell. When the price of ice cream is high, selling ice cream is quite profitable, so the quantity supplied is large. Sellers of ice cream work long hours, but many ice cream machines and hire many workers. By contrast, when the price of ice cream is low, the business is less profitable, so sellers produce less ice cream at a lower price. I mean, God, man, what a fluctuation. Up, down, left, right, all over the place. So, quantity of ice cream, price of ice cream, as the price goes up, the quantity of ice cream goes up. Because the higher price increases the quantity supplied, the supply curve slopes upward. Sometimes this stuff seems backwards, I swear. Alright. Versus individual supply. I'm going to have to come back to that for sure. Let's see. Because the market supply curve is drawn, holding others constant, when one of these factors changes, the supply curve shifts. For example, suppose the price of sugar falls. Sugar is an input in the production of ice cream, so the lower price of sugar makes selling ice cream more profitable. This raises the supply of ice cream. At any given price, sellers are now willing to produce a larger quantity. As a result, the supply curve for ice cream shifts to the right. Alright, so there are many variables that can shift the supply curve. Let's consider the most important one, input prices. So the price of something involved in making it. The technology, if technology improves, we can do it faster. Expectations, what we depend if we're scaling, number of sellers. So what happens to the quantity supplied of a good when the price varies? Holding the constant others. I mean, this is all super relevant stuff right now, to be honest with you. It's what's going on in our world right now. Let's see. Let's bomb another quiz, shall we? Which of the following moves the pizza market up along a given supply curve? A kitchen fire that destroys a popular pizza joint, an increase in the price of root beer, a complement to pizza, a decrease in the price of cheese, an input, an increase in the price of pizza. So this is a piece of it, right? So if we want, which of the following moves the pizza market along a given supply curve? The increase in the price of pizza? Yep, the price of pizza. All right. Let's see. Which of the following shifts the supply curve for pizza to the right? So an increase in the price of root beer. No. A kitchen fire. An increase in the price of pizza. So if the price goes up, the demand goes up. A decrease in the price of cheese. A decrease in the price of cheese will shift the supply curve to the right. Sometimes makes no sense. Movie tickets and film streaming services are substitutes. If the price of film streaming increases, what happens in the market to movie tickets? The demand shifts to the right, so more people want to go see the movies. Yeah, that's right. I'm almost done here. Supply and demand together, combined, how they do. They make this nice little equilibrium price, that fulcrum, right? That spot, the tipping point. So we've got a point called the market's equilibrium. The price at this intersection is called the equilibrium price, and the quantity is called the equilibrium quantity. So here an example is the ideal amount is 7 ice cream cones at $4 each. That's the ideal number for me to make some cashish and all that good stuff. Where they're willing to buy enough, where we have enough, I don't keep surplus, all that good stuff. I mean, I can see how you could analyze this, decide whether the event shifts the supply. Yeah, I get it. So, looking at like all the parts that it takes, all the pieces it takes to make a Tesla, and investing in the pieces behind it, and seeing prices and stuff like that's just a lot of stuff you got to watch onto. I mean, I can see it being super organized, how this would be right up your alley. But man, I'm just looking at these charts and I'm bored out of my mind right now. So I think that's enough of that for today. Thanks for studying with me today. We are going to stop all of this. That was good for today. Thank you.